Welcome to Writing the Thing, the podcast in which I, Shaun Kitchener, chat to writers about how they literally wrote their things. Today's guest is an extremely acclaimed playwright who has had two absolute smash hits produced in the last year alone. It's the fantastic Jane Upton. So I saw Jane Upton's play The Woman last year, twice, in fact, because my good friend Jamie Rose Monk was in it as an actor. She was absolutely incredible. The play was absolutely incredible. Paloma Faith posted about it being absolutely incredible. Both Jane and Jamie were nominated at the Offies for their work on the show. It went down extraordinarily well. It was a play about motherhood that sort of played around and did exciting things with form and naturalism and meta-ness. It was brilliant. It had a tour early in 2025 and then it played at the Park Theatre in London later that same year. Cut to this year, and her new play, Scenes from a Friendship, has just had a wildly successful run at the Nottingham Playhouse. It's a two-hander about the decades-long friendship between two mates. It's heavily inspired by a friendship in Jane's own life. I didn't get to see it, which I'm devastated about, but I read the play text after Ben Wetherill mentioned it on last week's episode of this very podcast, and it's just an absolute belter. Both that show and The Woman both got 5 stars in The Guardian, which, you know, ain't bad. And additionally, across her career, I mean, Jane's written so many great plays. She won the Adopt a Playwright Award. She's been shortlisted for the Bruntwood Prize. Just a few months ago, she was shortlisted for the Women's Prize for Playwriting. She very generously came on a Zoom with me a couple of weeks ago to talk about both The Woman and Scenes from a Friendship. There is a voicenote cameo from our mutual pal Jamie in there, so keep an ear out for that. We covered Jane's experiences of being in a rehearsal room, her experience of sort of taking inspo from her own life. We covered the magnificence of dramaturgs. But first of all, I asked her what her earliest memory is of being blown away by theatre.
I didn't go to loads of theatre as a kid, but we did go to the pantomime every year at Nottingham Playhouse, and it was like a ritual.
Oh,
But then the thing that really sticks in my mind that was the first thing that really grabbed me was a site-specific version of Dracula. I went with my mum. I can't remember what grounds it was in, but I remember just being really scared, and me and mum walking back to the car with a torch and be like holding on to each other and being really scared.
yeah.
And I never knew you could have site-specific theatre or anything like that. And I remember just like all my kind of like synapses buzzing, thinking, oh my God, you can literally like put theatre anywhere. And I
Yeah.
remember that was a big memory. But I was about 17 then. But yeah, I think that's definitely my earliest memory of something that really got me.
Yeah. Oh, wow. And in terms of like writing specifically, was that something that you'd wanted to do, or you felt an itch to do for, like, have you always been quite storytelling, or is that something that came to you as an adult?
I think like now I look back, I didn't really obviously think of it as a career or anything like that. But I always loved writing since junior school. And I remember like writing things and handing it in and like feeling excited to hear what the teacher said and stuff.
Yeah.
But I also have like really specific memories of writing things in school. I remember we did in A-level English, we did Slaughterhouse 5 and Catch 22, and we had to do a creative piece combining the two.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember the teacher took it to like a teachers conference and read it out. And I remember like the feeling of like being so proud of it and like, I don't know, like excited and like I never would have put that, but now I realize it's the same feeling. It's the same feeling of wanting to just like the enjoyment of kind of finding a way through something and pulling something together and then
Yeah.
affecting people and connecting with people. So yeah, I wouldn't have ever thought that that was all kind of so I don't know, so like wrapped up in part of it. But now when I look back, I'm like, obviously I did love writing. Yeah.
Yeah. That's such a good articulation of like doing something, writing something that affects people and like makes people feel something. I don't like,
Yeah.
really like,
So my teacher came back to school. I didn't know he was doing that. And he went, I shared it at this teachers conference. And he said, and everyone was laughing and falling on the floor. And he was
Yeah.
like, and he went, I was so proud that one of our students did that. And I was just like, this is amazing. And I sound such a geek now, but I just think that was the thing I could do, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I did some acting at school, but the writing thing really made me feel so much more in control, I think, like less nervous. You could do it in your own time. And I got so nervous as an actor
Yeah.
and as a singer, like I just can't cope with the nerves. So
Right.
I had
Okay.
to quit that. But
Scenes from a Friendship in particular is like just so great. Like just on the, I haven't been able to see it yet, but just even on the page, it's just so fantastic. I was talking to
thank
Ben Wetherill for this podcast actually, and he recommended it, and I'm so glad I read it. He said it's a great love story. Is that how
you.
you would define it at its heart, like a love story?
Totally. And it's funny because I only got commissioned to write it last September.
Oh wow.
And I've never written a play in that time before. But Adam Penford at Nottingham Playhouse came to me and he was like, have you got any ideas? We've got a slot in the studio. And they
Yeah.
hadn't produced a studio piece for a long, long time. And I was like, funnily enough, I have been thinking about this idea because a really, really, really good friend of mine, so my oldest friend, had started to go through therapy and he's now training to be a therapist. And it had brought up loads of conversations between us. And I said, look, I can't afford therapy. Can I write a play about this instead? Because it's bringing up all these things. And I was really like thinking he'd probably go, oh, I'd rather you didn't because it's like I'm going through so much right now. And he was like, oh my God, I would love that. I would love that. And it's led to the most amazing conversations between us. We had like maybe 3 Zooms of about 3 or 4 hours where we
Wow.
just like discussed loads of stuff from our childhood and things we didn't know.
Yeah.
And we just like both so much more because he's been going through therapy and just what we've gone through with having children and all these different things. We're sort of like in the like little 1-page pitch I wrote. It was like when you get into your 40s, there's just never that time to just sit with your friend and like get rid of all the crap and just it's always constantly stolen moments on the phone and there's always tension because you don't have time to get into everything. And I was like, what I want is to just be able to like lie on a rug with my friend just as we are with none of the hang-ups. And I don't even know if that's possible, but I was like, and just be and not even speak. I said, but we wouldn't not be able to speak because we're like, I said, just to like feel safe and comfortable with each other and get rid of all the shit that's gone before. And that was like the premise of it. And then it went through like all because I was like panicking, like, what is it? Like, I need a clever structure. And I work with Sarah Dickinson, the dramaturg, who's just like unlocked so much for me. Like she's changed my practice completely. I didn't have a practice. And she was like, look, the structure you're trying to achieve, you need 2 years to make this. So you've got to let that go and let's just try it chronologically and let's work out the thread through it and let's make sure that every scene works as it is.
Yeah.
And once we've got it chronological, we can look at if you want to mess around with it. But I think we just need to like get that. And all the time, all I felt in answer to your question, a very long way round, is I just want this to be about love. I just want it to be full of love, like at the end of it. And I went through like a draft where I said, I just feel like they were just too horrible to each other. It was too dramatic. And I was trying to like make it more dramatic. And she's like, the beauty of your writing is it's in the small details. It's in like the everyday. It's all, and she goes, just trust in that, trust in that.
Yeah.
But I just wanted all this love in it. And there's obviously so much like tension and drama between them in small ways and big ways, but the love shines through. And my friend's been now twice to see it.
Oh.
And we both just like sobbed at the end and hugged and stuff. And he's like, I'll never be able to like, he said, I'm anxious now because I'll never be able to do anything that kind of shows you my love like you've shown me your love like this. And I was like, oh my God, just letting me do it. And just be, he's been like, I said, you couldn't have been more perfect through this because all the way through he's gone, it's a play, just be free, do whatever you want. If you make, because obviously some of it's fabricated and fictionalized, and he's like, I totally understand that. And I was like, you couldn't have been more empowering in your approach. Because every time I sent him a draft, I was thinking, oh God, I hope he doesn't go, do you know what, actually, I can't do this. And every time he's just gone, oh my God, I've just sobbed, I love it. So yeah, and I'm like, he's like definitely one of the greatest loves of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, but yeah, I said to Sarah though, the dramaturg, I was like, what if I write this and then because we're like interrogating everything, we find out that it's the toxic bits that glue us together and keep us coming back. And she went, do you think the shit's over just because you've written this? She goes, this is just a moment in your friendship. There's way more shit to come. And I was like,
yeah.
oh,
Oh, okay.
I kind of thought this was like the end of all the shit. And we'd be just
Yeah.
like,
Oh.
but yeah. But the most special was press night when he came as my +1. And it
Oh.
was just like, you just get these. I am quite nostalgia heavy, but
Yeah.
also it feels more than just nostalgia, this play, because it crosses the whole lifetime up
Yeah.
to now, obviously. You get these pinch me moments where you're like, oh my God, this is my friend from year 3. And we're
Yeah.
standing here in press night. And he was going, who would have thought anyone would want to watch a play about us? This is
Right.
so weird. And I was like, I know, but it's not just about us, is it? It's, there's so many universal feelings in it, like any play,
Yeah.
like the thing. So
Yeah. Well, I was going to say across this, and I want to, we'll get to The Woman as well, which I also love. Very different play, but equally as incredible. What must have been, I imagine, quite rewarding for both plays and beyond is that response. Like, it must feel quite, I don't know if exposing is the word in different ways, but then to get that, you must have had quite a lovely reaction back. Is that, have you, and is that quite rewarding? I imagine it is.
yeah, I just got goosebumps because literally that's all you do it for, isn't it? It's
Right.
like to feel the depth of connection is like all life's about to me. And it's like in the day-to-day world, every day, you're having so many like surface level conversations and all that. And I just want to like strip to that connection. And it's a bit of an extreme way to do it, but writing a play, you get those connections so much.
Yeah.
And people come and tell you like really like interesting details about their life. And that happened with both of these plays. And it does feel like a massive privilege to have that connection and that kind of quick route to someone's heart in a way. So yeah, that has been so rewarding. Not to, and you always hear yourself sound like a dickhead, but it has been like really, really beautiful.
Oh, absolutely.
And also it's funny because there's been like a really strong reaction from people with similar friendships and stuff and
Right.
saying, oh, it's so nice to see a platonic friendship between the gay guy and the straight woman and blah, blah, blah. And it's funny and it sounds stupid, but I didn't really think of it like that because obviously it's just us. And like, I didn't really think of it having that kind of, that sounds ridiculous, but that sort of, what do you call it? That connection or that the kind of strength of that. And few people have come and said, oh, it's such a great, like, story of a queer person kind of through their life. And I was like, yeah, I guess that is what it is. And that's an amazing thing because I hadn't considered it. It was like,
wow, yeah.
yeah, I know that sounds stupid, but it's because it's just our story. But they're like, it's so good to see like the kind of the journey of having children and all those things. I was like, yeah, I guess it's just the story. And like, that's an amazing kind of byproduct of it in a way.
Yeah. Oh gosh, amazing. Across both of these plays, they take very, very different but very real experiences, very emotionally complex experiences. But what connects them both, what I love about both of them is there's such a great sense of humor across them both, which like genuine, like laugh out loud stuff. Is that a conscious thing or is that just a natural sort of?
Yeah, I think people always say, but I don't think this is necessarily true, but people always go, oh, the Midlands sense of humour and all that. But everyone's got a sense of humour, haven't they? I don't think it's just to the Midlands, but I guess maybe there's a brutality to it and there's a straight directness to it, I suppose. Yeah, I think I definitely, natural inclination is to fall on the dark side of life. And I can easily write dark stuff.
Yeah.
Humour is so important because it's realistic, isn't it? That's the way we speak to each other. And the way that my family always spoke to each other was brutal, funny, say anything you want. Like, it's kind of, I think it's been a massive gift because I don't feel in any way like I need to be polite or that there's things I can't say. And people always go, God, how do you feel about your parents seeing things? And I'm like, it doesn't cross my mind. It doesn't enter my mind. And you realize that is such a gift. That is such a gift. You feel like you can just speak plainly. But yeah, it's just part of our life. Like, we literally were just horrible to each other. And the same with my friend who inspired Scenes from a Friendship.
Yeah.
He said to me, please don't stop being horrible to me. Because I was going, are you all right with this? Because I feel it's a bit mean. And he was like, that's what we're like. And he goes, if you stop doing that, it'll feel weird. But we're definitely way less horrible to each other than we used to be. At school, it's brutal, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's naturally there. And I do think it's important. I love the feeling I've noticed in lots of my plays, including All the Little Lights, which was about child sexual exploitation,
Oh
which you
yes,
think
yeah,
would have no humour in it, obviously. But it's about three teenage girls and how do they speak to each other? It's not going to be, do you know what I mean?
yeah.
But I remember that the first time watching a play of mine, because I only started writing in 2010, 2011, and I was 30, 31. So I wrote this play about 2014, and I remember sitting in the audience and the audience just laughing their head off for about the first 15 minutes, and then it just slowly getting quieter and quieter as everything dawned on them.
Yeah.
And I thought, God, that's really a powerful feeling to see that. And I remember a couple of people pointed out, they were like, God, I was laughing my head off. Then suddenly I was like, oh my God, why am I laughing? And it's been the same with the woman I saw people laughing. It's so funny to see what people laugh at as well and the things they resonate with. And sometimes it's totally the most inappropriate things. And with Scenes from a Friendship, again, the start of it, the teenage years, so funny. Like people are laughing. And then it gets to like the harsh, like, adult years, and
Yeah.
suddenly the laughter starts to drop off,
Right.
and then you hear a few sniffs and stuff. But yeah, I think for a good night out, for just a feeling of a whole kind of experience, you need both, don't you? Really,
Oh
but it's
wow.
good when it creeps up on you, and you're like, oh, I was laughing a minute ago, and now I'm
Yes.
not.
No, I love that. I like, yeah, that's when I tend to get most emotional if I've been laughing with the character
Yeah, because you've
already.
released in a way, haven't you?
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think there's lots of things that have come out of Scenes from a Friendship that weren't necessarily intentional. And one thing is, you watch the whole thing and it's literally like watching time flash before your eyes, and it makes you feel a little bit breathless about how quick life goes, and it's like almost just like an illustration of it in front of your eyes. And also the childhood scenes and the teenage scenes, they're together all the time in
Yeah.
person, and they have time for all these little conversations that are kind of important, not important, whatever. And then because you're watching it, you start to notice that the adult years mostly on the phone, and there's a real sadness in that, because you realize you're just not getting that face-to-face contact.
Yeah.
And so just seeing it in time and space, because I've recently written a radio thing, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize how much I need time and space and
Right.
people and bodies and breath. And yeah, there's just so much beauty in the physical, isn't there?
Yeah.
Obviously, but I'm just learning as I go, and I'm like, obviously. And then also, like, we have this dance bit in the middle of the teenage years. And at the end of the dance bit, I'd just written, there is some sort of movement sequence that shows Billy having the best night of his life or whatever, and he's free. And literally, all it is him spinning to this beautiful music and just spinning with his arms open,
Yes.
completely open. And you just like, oh my God, like I just cry at that bit every single night. And I thought that's literally a 3-second thing
Right.
with music, and all those things with theatre that when you're writing on a page, I don't think in images at all. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
when you're there, you're like,
Same.
oh my God, this is why it's so magic. It's having those little live moments of space and time and whatever.
Yeah. Do you quite enjoy the being in the room, I guess, and finding things like that, or do you prefer? Are you much happier just like on your own with your laptop?
I'm never happy at the end. No,
Full stop.
sometimes I'm happy, but I notice when I'm happy. That's how like unlikely it is. When I'm in the room, I feel like I need to be there, but every part of me doesn't want to. That sounds really awful. I feel like, because again, Sarah Dickinson, the dramaturg, has taught me loads about neurodiversity and sort of the way that I respond to things. And I've not got any diagnosis or anything, but she kind of like from the start of me meeting her has explained so many things to me about why I find things hard and why I think everyone else is doing something different to me or whatever.
Yeah.
And one is like that I know, and lots of people will relate to this, but I know that I feel things really, really deeply. And I notice shifts in energy. And when I'm in a room like that, I'm literally like assessing constantly everyone's mood. And I'm thinking, oh, they don't seem so happy. So, oh God, that person's saying something that's not making them happy. And then I start to feel like I want to like just die inside of me. And so the whole time, all those dynamics, I'm like, drowning, and then trying to stay present and think, what does this scene need? What do I need to do? And to stay present is like a gargantuan effort. Like the whole time I'm just thinking, I don't know what it needs, because the
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
time I'm just thinking, they're not happy, they're not happy. Oh God, they think this is shit and blah,
yeah.
blah, 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 which is pathetic. Again, like all these things are just things you've got to overcome and learn about. And I think really, if you got to make a show after a show after a show after a show, you'd start to learn all these things, wouldn't you? And
Right,
get
yeah,
better
yeah.
at it. But it's so sporadic, isn't it? That every time you go in, you feel like a kid
Oh
at
God, yeah.
school every time. And also, you always start rehearsals with a new play, knowing that things are going to change and that you need to be on your feet, because everyone's relying on you to kind of fix it in a
Yeah.
certain time, so that they don't have to keep changing it. But actually, every play that I've ever worked on has changed right up to previews.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's so much holding your nerve in the room, isn't there? There's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much, because you have to remember that something might not be working in the room, but once they're comfortable with it and they can own it, it starts to fly. But it's at what point do you know to change something because it's not working, or at what
Right.
point do you know to hold on? And that's again where I've found having a dramaturg like revelatory, because although they're not really an outside pair of eyes by them, because Sarah always works on a full process. So she'll be there from the start of the script, checking in, and having meetings and blah, blah, blah. And then she also works with the director going into the show,
Okay.
and with them on the first few rehearsals to get the script into shape. And then in the previews, we'll come in with fresh pair of eyes and say, yeah, you're right, let's cut that scene. But she's so good at going to me, hold your nerve.
Okay, great.
It's just not working yet because they haven't found their feet with it. Don't change it yet. Whereas for me, if I was on my own, I would probably panic and go, yeah, that's crap, isn't it? It needs to change, or whatever.
Right, right.
And it's just so like bolstering and galvanizing to have someone who knows the play as well as you do going, no, this is absolutely what it needs to be.
Right.
It's just we haven't found it in rehearsal yet. And obviously she was there for the first 2 days of rehearsal.
Yeah, yeah.
And we like chopped and changed the script quite a bit in those 2 days. The first week I stayed away from home, and I just got up at 5 o'clock in the morning and like did all rewrites and stuff.
Oh,
And
wow,
I was in
yeah.
rehearsal in the afternoon and then did rewrites at night, and sandwich scenes together. And yeah, so the work continues, doesn't it? But
Yeah, yeah.
so yeah, in the room I find it difficult, but also I feel like I have to be there.
That's really actually oddly comforting, hearing someone like who's as objectively brilliant as you saying that you feel like that sometimes in the room, where like you feel like you're trying to figure out well, just like what to say.
Totally.
If there's a moment where it's like, oh, this needs something, everyone's looking at you, and in my head I'm like, I don't know if I understand what the note is, I don't know what the
Yeah,
fix is.
totally.
Help.
Oh my God, Shaun, find an amazing dramaturg.
Yeah, yeah.
No, 'cause, like, as well, it's just somebody giving you permission. I think you feel like you really got to be the expert of the script. And like Sarah will go to me, you don't need to fix that now.
Mm.
Just go away and think about it. And I say,
yeah.
I can be so honest with her now. I go, even if I go away and think about it, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just take time to process. But it's so hard in the intensity of rehearsal to find time to process, because everyone's looking at you, aren't they? Like,
Yeah.
please fix this, because we don't want to be changing it in the third week. But sometimes it has to be.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I only sent the rehearsal draft on the Sunday before we started on the Monday.
Right.
And Hannah, the director, was amazing, because I know she wanted to unit it and do prep. But the great thing was Hannah, the director, sat in on mine and Sarah's last few Zooms so that she could hear the in-depth discussion about individual lines and like why I was trying to dial up this moment and things like that. So she came into the rehearsal having done a lot of prep just by being in those meetings. And actually, again, that was revelatory, because I've never worked with a director like that. So day one, you're starting with the director,
Yeah.
and almost going over all the things you've worked on with the dramatic. So for her being in there, and that was her suggestion, she was like, please, can I be in the meeting?
Right.
And it was great.
Oh wow, amazing! It feels like I mean, just from what I have gathered and seen and heard from a certain mutual friend that we have, Jamie Rose Monk, that you've had such a great alchemy of like finding the right cast, finding directors, all that kind of thing.
It's always different in all the things that I've done. Like I've been involved in casting for everything. But again, I feel like, yeah, we've been so lucky with this play and with oh my God, like, yeah, with The Woman, the cast we got was incredible. I don't think I have like found any like secret to it. It's
No,
just
no,
that we got a bit lucky. No process is perfect because there's so many limitations. And when you're making a play, you think, God, if the audience knew what you go through to create this thing that might not even work,
yeah,
people would be so kind but all people are looking at is the finished product.
right, of course.
And I think if you got to do it over and over and over again, you'd start to realize it's about the process. It's about but there's so much money riding on it. And if you have a
Yeah, yeah,
studio show at a regional theatre, even if you sell out, they lose a lot of money.
yeah,
And so it's a massive risk, and that they're kind of like investing in it for a future life in the hope that they can recoup costs and stuff.
yeah,
So when you like think about all of that, it
yeah,
freaks you out. You have to
I know.
just kind of think, right, this is a process. It's imperfect. Um, there isn't any magic alchemy that you can get out of a bottle and go, I know how to build a team or whatever.
Yeah.
And the director pretty much builds the team, so it's down to them.
I don't know if you've ever heard Amy Poehler's podcast, Good Hang, but
Oh yeah.
she starts every episode with like I was like oh Jamie, we can rip this off because they start every episode with like getting someone that knows the guest to give a question for the guest, and I was like,
Oh,
Jamie, have you got a question? You've spoken to this already, and it was really interesting. But she wanted to know. This is a question from our listener, Jamie Rose Mudd.
So I think I would love to know from Jane, because her work is so like, it's really honest. It's really like, what's the word? It's like really exposing, and it makes the audience feel exposed, and she must feel that when she's writing it. How does she keep like true to herself and not like write or sugarcoat stuff or like write a more palatable version of something? Is what makes her work really excellent, I think. Does that make sense? Or maybe it sounds wanky, I don't know. But just tell her that she's great.
God, I think in life and like as a writer, I don't understand how people don't just kind of tell the truth. And I feel like it's like our duty to the world is just to be honest about what life is. And I just think, why are we sugarcoating anything? Let's be honest about it, because everyone feels like they're failing all the time. And it's just a horrible, why do we want people to feel like that? And again, I think what I said about my parents being like, just speak as you find kind of thing, I just feel like I don't have to sugarcoat. But funnily enough, there's been things lately that I've been writing that do involve people that I know.
Yeah.
And I have had to like pull back on that. And I did wonder like, where's my boundaries? And I found them. So, and also like, I'd love to write more about the brutality of raising children and like the intricacies of that and the horrible feelings you get. But my children are getting older now, and that's very hard to do publicly, knowing that,
Of course.
like, my daughter's 11, so she'll start to read my stuff and know my stuff. And if someone else wrote it, I might take her, but because it's written by me, I don't know what that's going to do to her. Like, do you know what I mean? So suddenly I'm sorry, Jamie, but I might have to like chill out a bit on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that's my style and that's who I am as a writer, and I'm leaning into it more now. Like I realize, I think I was always like afraid of being labeled autobiographical all the time.
Right.
But I feel like if you write and lean into that and into the universal of your experience, it's not indulgent.
Yeah. And also it resonates so well when you do that as well, because you're like, you're writing like from a place that people, even if they're not the specific details of it, but they can feel it.
I think a lot of people go, oh, you've named something that was in my head that I didn't even know I could name it. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting, because when you're doing it, you don't think, you're not like trying to do that. You're just writing. I feel like it comes out of my guts and like just goes into my mouth. And that's when it seems to work the best, really.
Yeah.
And you know it when you're writing, you're like, there's something physiological happening in your body when you've connected something. Like you feel like you're crying, or you feel turned on, or you feel sick, or you're laughing, and like, oh, this is something. And it's so weird, because if you feel that in the moment, I think you have to trust in it, because when you read it back another day, like, this is a bit too much information, but say I'm on my period or something, I have a very different psychological state, and I read it, I go, this is crap, and I'm dead. Like, oh my God, there's nothing in this. Why did I think this was good? I have to trust in the feeling I had in the first place, that it was something good. I remember on scenes from Friendship, I started with the scene where my friend comes to the hospital. It was based on reality, like when I'd had our second child. I started with that and I was upset. And then the next thing I wrote was the surrogacy scene. And I remember feeling really uncomfortable writing it.
Right.
It's about where he tells her that they're going to have a baby via a surrogate. And I remember my friend telling me that in real life, and me all the whole time just thinking, God, I never offered to do that. It never crossed my mind. I would never do that for him. So the whole time he was telling me, instead of going, that's amazing, and I was just like, I'm a terrible friend, I'm a terrible human, all this kind of stuff. So I was writing that in the thing, and I was thinking,
Yeah.
God, like I forgot that I had those feelings. And
Yeah.
so yeah, you kind of know, when like that
Yeah.
connection's there. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Oh wow. That's so interesting here. And yeah, well, thank you for all these pearls of wisdom. I just had a couple of like just little silly ones to finish. What's the best font for writing a script in? There's a gear change for you.
Oh my God, I have no idea. I don't listen. This is where I think I'm so behind on everything. I just use Word.
Yes.
And I use whatever it is, Calibri Body,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Is that
Right.
what it's called?
Probably. I don't know.
And now I'm in this Playwright UK WhatsApp group thing, and people are always asking, what's the best software for this? What's the best software? And I'm like, oh my God, please, I need to get on it. I don't use anything like Final Draft. I need to learn. Do you?
No, only for like
Use TV scripts.
TV scripts, yeah, and I also used it for because when I did a musical, I didn't realize I wrote it in Word, and then I realized, well, no one actually told me this. I just heard it somewhere and started panicking that there is a set way you've got to format a musical book.
Really?
I was like, oh God! So then I wrote it all again in Final Draft in this like industry standard thing, and I don't know if I needed to do that, but like that's why like with plays, I'm like, God, it's Times New Roman, and you're gonna like it. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't. I just use what Word gives me.
Yeah.
I've never done one in Comic Sans.
Oh God,
Maybe
no.
that would be fun to submit one in Comic Sans.
Just
and
a really
then
harrowing play in Comic Sans.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it? You could say that's my form. But I need to learn about Final Draft and all that. But for my radio play, I did just write it in Word, and then when I went to the set, they'd put it all into this format.
Great. Where do you write physically? Do you have a spot do you have like, this is my writing spot, or do you move around? Are you a cafe person? Like, where do you?
Yeah, I move around, and again, it's like with the brain stuff, I might be writing in. I've got an office, and it is a dumping ground. It's really small in our house. We put a fake wall in a room so that I could have a little bit. And it's absolutely disgusting. It's so full of stuff, and everyone dumps everything in it. And it's horrible. I need to clear it out because it makes me feel panicky. But I go in there sometimes, and then I'll be there and I think I can't connect. And then I'll go and get in bed, and I can write a scene and I feel it in my gut.
Yeah.
And then I go to I live in a town where there's not many cafes. And, independent cafes, I feel guilty, like just sitting with one coffee. So I go to Costa.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, I feel.
And I sit on this table that I need, which faces the door outside so that no one can see me. It's right round the back. And I literally have one coffee and spend days in there if I need to. But I just move around depending on, I literally can feel it when I'm in the right space.
Yeah.
For the
Day.
day.
Oh, yeah.
Annoying. And my husband's like, why don't you use that office where I built you the fake wall? And I'm like, makes me feel panicky. Sorry. He's like, I don't get it.
No, ours is very much jumping around. There's the exercise bike that hasn't been used in years. There's no laundry on it right now, which is.
Oh yeah, it looks nice though.
Oh no, I've added a plant for today, but if you can see the floor, not nice. And just finally, what was the last thing you saw where you were like, God damn, that's good?
I saw Guess How Much I Love You at the Royal Court.
Oh yes.
Yeah, which I loved, and it's like. Yeah, that's kind of writing that inspires me because I like it. That again, it was kind of like the territory I like.
Yeah.
But it was weird. I was sitting right at the back in the balcony.
Yeah.
And this woman and her daughter came in, and the woman next to me in the middle of it just slumped forward and was sick on herself.
Oh wow.
And they had to stop the show and help her out and stuff like that. But I don't think it was to do with the show. But the next day on the stage, it said the content was making people pass out and leave. And I was like, I don't think it was that.
Right.
But
she just had a doddy sandwich before she.
I think she came. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I loved that play. But also, I've been reading quite a few novels, and that that inspires me as much in terms of, I love Elizabeth Stroud. You know, she writes, I don't know if you've seen her writing, but she writes the Olive Catteridge books, but then she wrote one, My Name is Lucy Barton, that got adapted for a play at the Bridge.
Yeah.
And then she basically writes within this world, but her writing is so sparse and direct and amazing. Like the psychological stuff that exists within the lines and between the lines makes me want to write a novel.
Right.
But also it's just like, it really just sets every part of me alight, and it's so amazing. But she's written one called Lucy by the Sea, and it's set in the pandemic, and it's the best thing I've read about the pandemic, because she basically lives in New York and she goes to live she goes to live by the sea with her ex-husband, who's a scientist. He goes to get her and they go and live by the sea, and it's about the pandemic and about the political situation in this such beautiful, understated, psychological way. It's so great.
Oh, wow.
So I feel like they're the things that have inspired me the most lately.
Yeah.
But also I went to see Little Shop of Horrors at Derby Theatre last week, and that was wicked.
Great. Do you know
Good
what?
night out.
I feel like my husband's formative theatre memory is seeing Little Shop of Horrors at Derby Theatre, like 20 years ago. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Or I might be confusing it with Rocky Horror.
Why, is your husband from Derby?
He's from, Belper, just outside Derby.
Why?
The last couple of years, Belper has become so queer friendly. Like, there's flags everywhere. And he goes back and like, this is lovely, but also, where were you 20 years ago?
Yeah. Also, one of my friends, Simon Marshall, is from Belper. He's a playwright.
Yeah.
He's a playwright.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, wow.
And he's gay.
Yeah.
So
Well, there you go. That's two.
That's two, you see?
They're growing in numbers. I am so hopeful that Scenes from a Friendship gets another life somewhere, somehow, someday. But in the meantime, as I said, I would heartily recommend buying and reading the playtext, because it's absolutely just fantastic. And so is The Woman. That one is available too. Both of them via Nick Hearn Books. Thank you so much, Jane, for coming on and being so generous and open and lovely. So a couple of recommendations to finish, as per. My first recommendation this week is going to be the film Is This Thing On?, which is streaming on Disney Plus now. It was in cinemas earlier this year. It's loosely inspired by the life of John Bishop, but it's been fictionalized a bit. It's now set in the US, etc., etc. Screenplay by Bradley Cooper, who also directs, Will Arnett, who also plays the lead, and also Mark Chappell. I think John Bishop worked on the story as well, obviously. It's very fun and heartfelt, and it's got Laura Dern in it, which is always just a surefire marker of fabulousness. My other recommendation is just finished its run now, so this is kind of useless. I totally forgot a couple of weeks ago after I saw it to shout out End of the Rainbow at Soho Theatre Walthamstow, written by Peter Quilter. It's the play about Judy Garland that inspired the film Judy, starring Renee Zellweger. Jinx Monsoon played Judy in this production, and she just was absolute perfection. You may well have seen a lot of hype for her on social media, which was all correct and deserved. As I said, it's finished its run now, so it's a bit late for this recommendation, but if it does come back, then keep an eye out, I guess, and go. And Jinx is going into Oh Mary on the West End very soon, so that's definitely something to get booking for, because she's just great, isn't she? Well, thanks so much for listening. Another episode of Writing the Thing. I'll see you again next week with another fabulous writer.